Alright, I'm back. Unfortunately, my plug-in heat gun wouldn't work with my battery pack, even though I thought I had the calculations correct. So I ran out to Lowe's and I bought myself a nice 24 volt max Cobalt battery powered heat gun. So we can dry off around where I'm going to put the seal down for the main solid tank clean out. Recommended you use gloves that are disposable when you do this with the butanol rope, because what I've heard, just doing some research, is that it'll come off on your hands almost like roofing tar or something like that. And then once I apply it, I'm then gonna heat it up and smush it down along the outer surface. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it on just like this, and then I'm gonna put this on the inside after it's on, because I don't want the foam falling off as I flip it. Alright, so I popped the lid off so that, as you can see here, there's a little bit of a lip underneath all the way around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that with foam now. Alright, that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to reinstall the lid now, now that it's filled up pretty good with foam. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Alright, so I filled that gap up with the expandable foam, so hopefully that'll help seal that off even further. And I have the butanol rope right on the outside here, all the way around, so I'm going to put the lid back on. All right, we're back here the following morning. A lesson to learn from my mistakes. So when I put the foam underneath the inside of that one, basically overnight it rose enough where it broke the butanol seal. So I'll have to put an additional butanol seal around that. If I were to do that again, and I put the foam inside, I would have put the lid back on and then put a heavy weight like the cap on there to keep everything seated down. But irregardless, after we install anything anyway, I'm going to go ahead and actually do something I haven't seen in any other videos online, which is test to make sure that the waterproofing is actually working. So I'll be pushing some water around here to see if any can make it through the seals. And that'll give me a pretty good idea of how well things are actually sealed. But right now I am going to cut this cap down a little bit so I can fit another riser over this one, and then I'm going to install the riser over the other outlet baffle observation port down there as well. Oops. Huh. I wasn't expecting that to happen. Well, that's unfortunate. Looks like we're not going to have to play with this at all then. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. The concrete just kind of broke in half. It was probably already broken, I just never noticed it before. On the observation port for the inlet baffle, but oh well, that kind of doesn't matter anymore because I was installing this anyway. Anyway, we'll keep moving forward. One thing I'd like to note is that single roll of the butanol that I had only allowed me to do a single outside trace on 3 lids. So if you buy one of those rolls, I think it was like 20 bucks off of Amazon. Basically you can either do 3 rings on one of them for 20 bucks, or you could do 1 ring on 3 for $20. I have the 4th baffle, so I had to order another thing of butanol anyway. So that I'll use that for covering up the little gap that I see on the outside over there. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to install this one and then align these 3 together. That one's going to be slightly out of alignment, unfortunately. Well, they're in. They're not perfectly aligned, just because the tank has like a weird shape at the top here, where it's almost like a T, and the gaps on the side actually kind of throw off where you can put the riser on this side of the solids tank above the inlet observation port. And also I was trying to align them with where the liquids riser is going to sit, which you can see it's a little bit to the right. Not sure why they laid the tanks that way, but it is what it is. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop all the lids off. I'm going to put some spray foam on the inside of these, and then I'm not going to make the same mistake I made last night by just putting the spray foam underneath, not putting weight on top. I'm going to put the spray foam underneath, and then I'm going to put some heavy rocks on top to make sure that the foam isn't able to rise up and break the butanol seal. So here we go. Now that I have the lids off, I'm going to put some spray foam on the inside, put the lids back on, put some rocks and concrete on top of the lids, let them sit, and then I'm going to start working on clearing out the concrete around the solids, or the liquids holding tank, which is the back one. So here we go. And today is really the last day I can apply the spray foam where it's relatively warm enough for it to actually cure. After today, it's going to get back into the 30s and 20s and potentially below. Yeah, you can see when I put weight on these ones, they didn't come off, but I didn't put weight on this one. And it being all rope, basically unstuck due to the foam on the inside. But let's take a look at how that foam seal looks. Don't drop the phone, Joe. Yeah, so that looks like a pretty good seal. So I'm gonna put some butanol rope just around the outside here to help to shore it up, and then we'll leak test them. And then if they leak test fine, we'll backfill. And I'll make sure to save this little guy who I saw crawling around. Come on, little buddy. He's gonna put his eyes back in. Come on. Oh, on this. Yeah, I poked you in the head. Probably not a fan. There we go. Gently. Just gonna put you over there. Sorry I poked you. You'll be alright. Put a leaf over you, protect you from the predators. I'm gonna clean off around it again. Alright, so prior to backfilling, this isn't anything I've seen anybody do online, but just because of my background, this is something that we would do after we would seal something. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take water and I'm going to pour it around each one, and I'm going to listen. If I hear water making it into the solids tank, I know that it's not sealed. If I don't, I know that it's sealed. So this one leaks pretty decent. Let me check some of these others. Yeah, so over here it looks like the only leaking one is this one, which that makes sense. Yeah, I can see the water seeping in through little crevices. I thought that one was gonna leak because I did it wrong relative to the procedure I came up with and what I've seen. But I did the procedure and what I've seen correct relative to how other people have done it on this one, and this one still leaks. The one thing I noticed when I removed the lids is that the lids had like this bevel on them, and when I pulled off the different lids, I noticed that each of them had sediment in the crack between the lid and the tank, which means that over time sediment effectively was sealing the little holes and gaps between the concrete lids and the tank. I could do this completely over again and come up with a whole another way to make it seal perfectly, but for the moment I'm going to utilize what I have here. I tested for leaks. I understand that none of the leaks are gross leaks. I can see the tiny little trickles that are making their way in there, and they're not super deep, so if I do need to dig them back up, I will. I'll check on them through the season, and if I come up and think of a better way to seal them in the future, I'll go back and I'll fix them. But for now, this will allow me to backfill everything in and move on to the next aspect of the property, which is testing the well, making sure that the well functions correctly. So yeah, we'll get all the debris and excess stuff out of here, and then we'll move on to backfilling. Right, I'm going to seal up this lid and let the backfilling begin. All right, successfully backfilled, and tomorrow morning I'll be back, move some of these rocks out of the way, maybe use them as a border to prevent people from driving into these, including myself. Yeah, pretty successful day.